Thank you for joining us on Merit Matters, a virtual series highlighting current events, industry experts, and local community engagement. I'm your host, Tammy Birklid, Principal of Merit Construction. And today I have Merit's newest member on the podcast, my daughter, Audrey Birklid. Audrey is our Contracts and Communication Administrator. While she has been around Merit most of her life, we are excited to bring her on in a professional capacity. Audrey, thank you for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you here. I feel like I know you, so some of these questions may or may not seem silly for me to be asking, but everybody doesn't know you the way I do. So I think it's great that we share a little bit, people learn more about who you are and how we have been so blessed to have you join our team. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from, and then what led you to joining us at Merit.
This is funny to share with you because you know exactly what my background is and how I got here.
I get it. That's okay.
No, that's great. The majority of my background is legal. So I did my undergrad at WSU. I have a communication. Go Cougs, indeed. I have a bachelor's degree in communication with a focus in public relations. And then I went to Seattle University School of Law, and I got my law degree in 2019. And so for the past, really 5 years, I've been in the legal field, but in the past 2 years in a lawyer capacity. And I tried a couple of different things there, a couple of different areas of law. And I approached you, I think in December of this last year, and just started talking to you about things that were going on at Merit and if there was a place for me and if there was something I could, kind of do and how I could get into what you guys were doing. I had someone ask me recently, what was kind of your decision to leave law? And I was like, I didn't really want to leave law. I wanted to get into Merit, and I was excited about what you were doing. And you had kind of assured me that I could use my legal background and that would be useful and that it would be an asset to you and helpful to me. And I think that's proven true already in the short time I've been there. And so
For sure.
Yes, that is how I landed here.
So tell me, what were you excited about at Merit? Because we've kind of talked about that with some of the other places you've been, and every place has positives and negatives, but I want to hear about what you were really excited about joining Merit.
Well, the leadership is exceptional, which is true. And everything that you've done since being sole principal in 2020, I was really excited to see everything, bringing Ashley on and the marketing team, rebranding and building and heading towards growth, and just kind of a clear pathway forward and goals that you had set, and your whole team kind of, and even the little bit of time that I've been here, everything you guys are moving towards is something I wanted to be a part of. I've been a part of small businesses and I've done kind of all those things. I've been a part of small businesses, I've been a part of government work. I wanted a place that had a clear path of where they were going and working hard and growing, and Merit was that. Obviously I know you personally, and so I get to see that. I get to see different people you're bringing on and different jobs you're getting and things you're working towards, and I wanted to be a part of that. It was something that I was struggling to find elsewhere, and I knew that you had it, and so I was just trying to get a little piece of that if I could.
So you've been with us for almost a month. What do you think, or what would you say you've enjoyed so far being part of Merit?
The learning, really. I love to learn. I think that that's probably apparent from the amount of school I was willing to put myself through. And there's parts of construction, and especially what I'm doing, I've read a lot of contract language and I understand all of that, but how it actually works, kind of the project life cycle and bringing everything from the beginning kind of ground up, I don't know everything about. And so getting to learn and getting to talk to you and Danielle and the project managers and estimators and kind of learning how each different things work has been really fun. I have things that someone will explain to me and I say, what, explain this part too. And then once they do, I'm like, oh, and it's kind of like this aha moment, and it comes full circle and I actually understand what's going on. And it's just a world that I don't know a lot about. So I'm really excited to be learning and to hear what everybody has to say. And, you have so many people at Merit that know a lot and have been there a long time. There are new people, but there are people that know a lot as well. from all like years of experience. And it's always fun to listen to somebody talk about something they know a lot about and that they're smart about, because it's fun for me to learn about. So I've really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, I could see that, because I know you are a learner, and I get that too sometimes, where you just want to do something new that it feels like you're really I'm trying to think how I want to say that, like you're sinking into something and you're like totally immersing yourself in that environment, and it feels like you're alive when that's happening. It's just very energizing, and so I really like that too. Has anything surprised you during your month of tenure at Merit?
My month of tenure. Not yet, I guess. I don't know that anything would really, I don't know what would be something that would surprise me necessarily. I mean, I've known all the people there for a little bit of time, and I've known you. So I really haven't had an opportunity to be too surprised yet, I don't think, by anything. I mean, I've had things that get explained to me that I'm like, oh, I had no idea that that's how that worked, or that all of that went into that. And that has certainly been surprising. I mean, I understood how many different roles there were, but I didn't understand how they interacted with each other and what things kind of happen. And, I'm reading something in a contract for you, and I'm like, who does this? And I ask the person, they're like, well, this person does this part and this person does this part, and then it gets approved by them and then sent to this person. And I'm like, holy cow, this is like, it's a group effort, right? It's a very much everything kind of trickles, down, but also around. It's like everybody has to kind of get their hands on it before anything kind of moves forward. And I guess that was surprising, right? Like, it is really a team effort, and especially being, a smaller business, it's like very much everybody, all hands on deck when something's going on.
Yeah, I think with a small business, you have to be cross-trained. Everybody has to know a little bit about everybody else's field, so that if they need to, they can step in the absence of the person who would regularly handle that. I thought maybe it would surprise you how difficult it can be. Like, there really is a lot to it. And I think what you bring up is such a good point, because I think a lot of people think that construction is just about building. Yes, it is absolutely about building, but all of the things that happen behind the scenes and in the office and all of those parts are equally important. The writing of contracts and the insurance and just all of the details that protect the people that are out there building the buildings. It is a lot. There's a lot to it, and I would agree that it's surprising just how much there is involved with making things happen.
Yeah. I think when I was younger, my kind of concept of what you did was somebody was out there building a building, and then you kind of handled the money that they earned from building it. And that was kind of my very small, simple understanding of like what you did, and especially earlier in your career. And in my short 3 weeks here, I've quickly realized there's far more going on than just somebody builds something and then writes you a check, which would be fabulous if that's how it worked. But it is not.
It's just deeper and wider than that.
Yes.
So I think the number one question everybody's going to want to know is, what is it like working with your mom?
What is it like working with my mom? It's amazing. No complaints at all. It's absolutely perfect. One, I had no idea how it was going to be, right? I hoped it would be a certain way and everything, and I think that it's been excellent so far. I think in a lot of ways it feels like something I'm like the most qualified for I've ever been in my life. Working with you and communicating with you and knowing really everything you're thinking all the time is a huge benefit. It's also not sometimes, right? Like, I know exactly what my boss is thinking all the time, which is amazing, because I think me and a lot of other people, and especially in other roles I've had, you wonder that, right? You're like, did I do this right? Is my boss happy with me? What's she thinking? Did she mean that when she said that? And I know with you just by talking to you, and also I can just ask you, and that's already there, that comfort level of like, well, do you want me to do something different, or is this right? And that's a huge asset, I think, and it makes it so much easier for me to do what I'm doing and feel confident in what I'm doing, because I just can ask you. Whereas I think in other roles, you have to kind of build that for a while and actually have to kind of develop that relationship. And I've already got 25 years of practice of that. So
yeah, I think, I couldn't have, asked for it to go better. I would agree with you that we communicate really well. We usually know what's happening with each other. There's also a level of transparency between us that you don't get to experience normally with an employee-employer relationship. So just like you said, if I'm saying one thing but you're reading something else, and because you know me, you can simply be like, Mom, what do we need to do here? Tell me what you need from me and I'll make it happen. I also noticed that you do anticipate what I'm looking for, and you're able to stay 2 steps ahead of me on certain things. And our communication style I love, because you close the loop. That is so important to me. I ask someone to do something and you could just assume that they do it, but with you always come back and say, this is how this went, this is what happened. And that's like my love language. Like, you close the loop. It's so awesome. So I really love the way that we work together, and also I feel like I can depend on you completely. Like, if I ask you to do something, I know that you're going to keep going until it's done, and I know that you hold yourself accountable at a level higher than, a lot of people, just because you have a personal relationship with me that supersedes everything else, and you want to make sure that a relationship stays intact and a positive thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the same thing about you, right? In the sense of knowing that when your boss tells you something, they mean it. I know that from you as well, right? You can be depended on. And I mean, that goes for everyone that is your employee, no question, but I know it, right? And I think that they know it as well, but it might take a minute to develop that. Whereas I just, again, have that because I have that relationship with you. And I will also say, I think it's good. We've been, talking a little bit about like, okay, I won't text you anything business related. I'll only email it to you rather than, because I don't want you to look at your phone and see my name and be like, is this a work thing? Or, because that could happen, right? If you've had enough of work that day and you see me, you're like, nope. And that way, it's like, oh, it's actually just a picture of my dog or the cat or something. It's not something work related.
I totally agree. I think that it's important to put boundaries
Mhm.
up so that you can preserve the professionalism that you want to, as well as the personal side of your relationship. And I think it's a wise thing that we're putting in place, and I think it will have benefits long term for sure. What do you hope to accomplish most in this position?
What I hope to accomplish most, I have, I think, some personal goals and then some goals for Merit as well, right? What I could bring to Merit and then what I can learn about this industry. You have such a vast knowledge of it. I mean, you've been in it forever, that's been your career all the way through, whether it was at Merit or a different company. And I have none of that yet, right? So I want to learn. I want to know kind of all the ins and outs. I'm really interested, I mean, genuinely in what everyone else is doing and how they do it and what everybody kind of brings to the table and what they're doing, even roles that aren't mine. I'm interested to know about estimating how it works. I want to understand the accounting side of it, everything that Danielle is doing. I have this like opportunity, right, in a small business to really kind of actually understand everybody's role. When you get into positions where you're working at a company of 200 plus people, there's no way you could ever fully understand what everyone's doing, right? But I have that kind of desire. I want to understand really the full project life cycle and what everybody's part in it is. It is such a foreign area to me, but it's also amazing to see a building go up. I mean, it is in the small that I've seen, obviously knowing of what you've done and seeing projects, but in the limited time that I've seen of like project beginning pictures and then at the end what's happened, whether it's a remodel or just ground up, it's like, this is insane. That was a pile of dirt. And I mean, I think that is really just crazy. I mean, everything you guys talk about being, building things that matter and building the futures of our communities and all of those types of things. I mean, it's true. I think about that in the home that you just were able to build. Because we went up there and we saw it foundation, and to see the full thing from the ground up happen and then see us in there laughing and eating meals and cooking meals and engaging together is just crazy to me. I think that's such an amazing thing to get to be a part of. And I'm excited about that opportunity to do it at Merit. So selfishly, I want to learn as much about it as I can because I think it's an amazing thing to be a part of. And then as far as helping or not helping, but what I want to accomplish for Merit or with Merit, I just want to continue to help you grow and go in the direction you want to go. And we've talked about a lot. Construction it's very fluid, right? It's up and it's down and you have a big job and then it's low. And I want to just keep making this as much this as we can.
Yeah.
Seeing how we can do that, right? I think that's an opportunity for growth. And I don't mean growth of like, let's get bigger, let's do bigger, not necessarily, right? But just, internally, the best way we can do what we're doing and make those things a little bit easier and just more seamless, because I know it can be done, and I don't know how to yet, but I'm excited to learn enough about it so that it can be. And that's what I'm hoping to accomplish.
Yeah, I think what you said is so important, and you brought it really to light in a really good way. And it's the way I think about it. You were talking about building a home from a piece of dirt, and then now as a family, we're actually in it making memories. And that's what we think about for every project.
Yeah.
The project owner has a dream, and we get the joy of being their partner in making that dream come to fruition. And to think, when we say we want to build the future of our communities, that's what that means. We want to think about having those buildings have life in them, and having those buildings actually achieving the dreams and the goals that those individuals had when they invested in building a building. So it's very similar. That whole process is very similar, and it's neat to think of having that as part of what we do. And I think that is just a really cool thing. If you put things in proper perspective, it's a really neat thing to be part of.
Well, I mean, I can obviously, your home I've gotten to be in, so it's easier to see. An example, I mean, no question, we always talk about the Tacoma Dome. I've had some pretty amazing nights at the Tacoma Dome.
Yeah.
I saw Garth Brooks, which was on my bucket list, at the Tacoma Dome, and I mean, that was incredible, right? And so did 60,000 other people, and even things like that. I mean, small things I've done at the YMCA, time I've spent there, those have been amazing. I mean, you don't get to see it as much when it's not your home that's being built, but it's happening, and I think it's a really amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah, we had a church, Lake City Community Church, that we built in Lakewood, and I remember what it was like when we started there and what their dream was. And then the very first night that they had a church service there, we went and we got to be there and be present in their sanctuary when they had their very first worship service, and just the pure joy. Everyone was so happy and so excited, and we made this happen, and it came together, and the architect joined us. It was just neat to think, hey, we were part of this. It's a privilege.
Very much so. I think it would be a shame not to bring it up, only because you had talked about the owner's dream so much. And Ashley and I were talking about team build yesterday or Friday, and how we could explain it educationally to people. And we talked a lot about the owner's dream, and somebody's coming with this dream. And with team build, it's the way we do things. You can make sure that can happen because you're there, part of the design. What can they actually do within their budget? Are we actually able to construct? I just think it was cool because we talked about that a lot. We talked about making sure the owner's dream could actually come true, rather than, oh, actually you've designed something that's crazy out of your budget or whatever it may be. We get to be involved and say, tell me what your dream is, and I'm going to help you, and we're going to help this architect figure out how we can build it and make it actually happen. And so just thought it'd be interesting to bring up, because we talked a lot about that owner's dream and making that come true.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's a privilege. So now we can do some fun get to know Audrey questions.
Okay.
Tell me what 3 words you think family and friends would use to describe you.
Yes. So the first thing that comes to mind is probably talkative. And I say that not to be funny, but it's true. I think just about anybody that knows me knows that I am chatty. And it's not that I'm like afraid of silence. I just don't prefer it. I like to be talking, and I like to be talked to. I would like to think that people think I'm thoughtful, because I try to be. And I think that shows sometimes. And so I would like to think people think that, or would say that. And then maybe also driven. At least I hope. Maybe not always, right? Like I'm not always doing the dishes as much as I should, etc. But in my kind of short 25 years, I feel like the most things that I've tried to tackle, I do them, efficiently and just kind of say I'm going to do it and then I go do it. And I'd like to think that people see that or would at least say something close to that.
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily say anything about being chatty, but I do think that you're a great communicator. And I think that communication is really critical to you. Obviously, you had an interest in it, you went to school for it, but it's really part of your relational side. It's how you navigate the world. And some people, that's not part of it. They're like, I don't want to communicate in that way, or I don't, but for you, it's part of who you are. And you are one of the most thoughtful people I know. And I have always said, you're driven. You have a drive inside you that I don't have. I often wonder where you got that. I am a hard worker, but I don't have things like, here's the gold ring and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the gold ring. And then as soon as the gold ring's gone, then I'm looking for the next thing. You like to achieve, and you like to make sure that you're accomplishing things in the way that you set out to, and you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So I think driven is a very appropriate description. What was your favorite age growing up, and why?
I thought about this and I kind of landed somewhere in the 15 to 16 age.
Really?
Yes. I mean, obviously, I'm sure like 3 was awesome. I just don't remember it.
It was epic.
3 was epic.
You were awesome at 3, as was I.
Perfect. I would say 15 to 16. I played softball, which so I got to do club softball. I was traveling all the time for that. I had a good kind of core group of friends that I hung out with while I did that. And when I think back about like things I miss that I did, I miss playing softball. I miss traveling and doing, all the club games and just playing softball. Like in general, sports are something that when they don't tell you kind of sucks when you're an adult, that you kind of lose because nothing else is important except playing when you're doing it. And that's just an awesome feeling. And it's being part of a team and competitive. I'm very competitive, as you know. So I like competing. So yeah, I would think right in there, like 15, 16, maybe 14. I liked 9th grade a lot too. I would say, 14, 15. But I really wanted to learn how to drive, so it's hard.
Wasn't 14 the year of the picture that I had in my office that you refused to allow me to keep in there?
That's 8th grade.
Oh, so 13.
Mm-hmm. My braces came off in 9th grade. Right.
Another good reason to love 9th grade.
Another good reason to love. 9th grade was probably honestly one of my best too. I was playing softball, all those things. I was in band. I loved band.
Mm-hmm. French horn.
What was your favorite age of mine?
Well, I'll tell you, I am really enjoying 25.
Thank you.
I look back and I think about different times, and when you were little, of course, it was the most amazing thing in the world to have you hugs and kisses and all of those pieces and parts. But to have you grow up and, become my friend and now my coworker and my team member, that's a pretty cool thing. It's pretty neat to be able to share so many layers of relationship with you. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, you're one of my favorite people to be with. And so how lucky am I to be able to spend time with you at work, to have your sense of humor interrupt my day in the best way possible, and to know if I'm having a hard day, you're there, you have my back. Like, it's a pretty cool thing.
So 25?
25.
Well, yeah. I appreciate that. And what a great thing for anybody out there who has a 13-year-old girl right now. Because I can promise 13 was not her favorite, and we've made it.
13 was definitely a challenging one, but it was for your brother too. We call 13 the 13th year in our house. Yes. Because we're always wondering if people are going to make it through the 13th year.
Yes.
Just to let you all know, people do make it. It feels like you aren't going to make it, but you do, whether you're the mom or you're the child.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned softball, and I know what an important part of your life that's been, but you're not really doing that today. So tell me, what's your favorite way to spend your leisure time now? What are your hobbies and what do you enjoy?
Well, we're coming up on summer, and I prefer to always be camping. I book our summers like back to back to back to back every single weekend. By the end of it, my partner is like begging me for a break, and I just try to say, you can relax from October to March. We're from June on, okay? It's time to, if we're not wasting a minute of sunshine. So we got a trailer last year, so we've been, I mean, I think we have literally like maybe one free weekend in July, but that's it between now and September. And I have 2 dogs, so we take them everywhere, and I hang out with you.
We do hang out a lot, and I love that.
Yeah.
If we're camping, I would always want you to be on my camping trips with me. And we just, even during the week, we're like, hey, what are you guys doing? You want to get together for dinner? So I'd say, yeah, spending time with family is a big thing to you. And Janae's family, too, is very important for you guys to spend time with that family side as well.
Who we hang out with.
Yeah.
Your family and Janae's family.
That's cool. Audrey, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved chatting with you. I loved getting to share who you are with people. And I know that they are just seeing a little piece of you right now, but I think they're going to be really surprised at how you flourish in this role and how you make an impact at Merit.
Thank you.